We are now live. Welcome everybody to Down the Rabbit Hole, another adventure into knowledge and expansion. Got quite a few people on here on this Christmas morning edition. So we're really happy. We didn't know what was going to happen, really. We're kind of like, well, let's see if anybody shows up. And but Christmas is a little bit different for everyone, including ourselves. We're always trying to move forward and expand our knowledge and expand the knowledge of everybody that comes on. There's Jean.
Hey,
Jean.
Merry Christmas.
It's almost over for you though, right?
Yeah, it's midnight now. Yeah, right. I will have my Monday. Monday I will celebrate it. Normally I celebrate it at the end of the month, but because the sun is going outstation, so we celebrate it on Monday.
Oh, interesting.
At the end here, I also have my Christmas tree. I have all my presents and everything. Yeah. So it's like created a family tradition to put magic in the air.
Nice. That's nice. Awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, so Ross, do you want to just kind of, because we have a few new people on today, do you want to kind of give a
so for those of you, Jean is a regular on the rabbit hole, so she definitely knows what's going on. But for those of you who are new, kind of what we do with this one, it's not a scripted show in any way. It's not like any of our live streams or any of our other material that we put out there. It's an open conversation, and you're welcome to turn on your microphone, turn on your video, and ask any questions that you want about, as far as some of the material that we've done. If you have specific questions on processes that we've put out there, it's just a very, very open discussion. And Gary and I love doing this because we don't want to be the talking heads. We don't want to be just listen to what we're saying. And that's really not how any of our material works, but especially on Saturdays, we'd like it to just be a very relaxed, just like, let's have a conversation. And
and I think because some people, Ross, just because some people it's first time, it doesn't mean that you have to necessarily have watched our content. That's really, again, another reason we do this is because it's just an open conversation about reality, about life, about how you can create more of what it is you want in your life, and how we can go about doing that, right? And here we got Govind coming on as well. Awesome. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something that kind of rolls off of our live streams. It's absolutely okay. We got more people. Wow, that's one of our huge crowds here. Sorry, everyone. I just got to admit everyone in here. So welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole. It's about conversations that expand our mind, our consciousness, and our thinking. And we talk about everything from spirituality to quantum mechanics to everyday stuff. So wherever the conversation goes, that's great. And again, if it leads off of what we've already been talking about in some of our live streams, great. If not, then we're open to any kind of conversation to build a community of people that are striving for tapping into their core self and to radiate into the world more joy, more celebration, more harmony, more unity, and more empowerment of self, right? So yeah.
So Jean, did you have an opportunity to watch Thursday's show?
Oh yes, I watched it. I was very good. I finished it yesterday.
Any questions?
It's good to go through the various episodes. And I think the episode that you highlighted are very good, especially on episode number 32 is good. Yeah. So yeah, overall, it's I think because many have not. I like the 5Gs. The 5Gs is really good, and to understand what this 5G is all about. I think for those who are new, who didn't know, I think it's good for you to talk, because I find that we are not aware that we have all these great possibilities, and the 5Gs can really serve us a lot and put us into such a higher place. It's not only just that the iPhone will go on 5G and all the whole world on 5G. We are also on a 5G, but more on the self-development and the development within ourselves. It's more of development within ourselves. And then because we are able to develop within ourselves with this 5G, we can actually better navigate whatever that is outside there. Yeah. So we have better tools to navigate ourselves. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the more powerful parts of the 5G is the fact that we hear so much over, the last decade or longer, to, put it out there, put out what you want, and your law of attraction, and and it really comes down to, you're absolutely right. That's what you do. You radiate what it is that you want to see in your life, what you want to see in the world, but you have to be careful about what you're radiating. What are you transmitting out into the universe? Is it really what you think it is? And that's the whole idea there, is that we are a transmitter and a receiver, and our mind, our emotions, our heart, our desire, our passions are the most important essence of us. And if we are not in tune with what they really are, what they actually are and such, then sometimes that's the answer to the question of, why is this always happening to me? I had I think it was last week, on last week's Rabbit Hole, I talked about a relative, my wife's niece, who was accidentally, per se, wanting to get a computer. She needed a new computer, and she was just starting to learn these types of processes. And she just puts out, I really would like to have a computer. I really need a computer. And within 4 months, she had 3 of them gifted to her. And she goes, that's amazing. Like, now you understand that it works. Now you understand that you have a tool, you actually have a power of creation within you. Now refine that and expand it to other things that you want to bring into your life, into your reality. And then you start to design that reality. And
so for those of you that aren't familiar with or haven't watched the episode, because it was a while ago, the 5G network is in everyday communication out there right now, like in media and stuff like that. We think of the 5G network as this thing they're putting in for the cellular system, and it's supposed to increase our ability to communicate with one another in a variety of ways. And at the same time, there's also another narrative out there that there's potential of that 5G network causing a lot of damage and harm to the system of the body and all of us and stuff like that. So there's that narrative going on out there in the world right now. What we're saying is that you can create your own 5G network, and that 5G network is one that radiates and emanates out and also receives in grace, gratitude, glory, growth, and gifts, meaning gifts from within and gifts from without. So it's and to understand those elements and to do daily practices that build your expression of grace and your receiving of grace, your expression of gratitude and your receiving of gratitude, your expression of glory and your receiving of that, and your expression of growth and your receiving of that, as well as your gifts, expression of receiving, giving, so that you are radiating what we call your own personal 5G network, and having that go out into the world and see what comes back to you in your life because of that.
Yeah.
I think, gratitude is very important, because, when you gratitude, a lot of things can you can overcome many things when you are able to exercise gratitude.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, any of those G's, I think you can overcome a lot. Govind, you raised your hand. Did you have a question?
No, go on.
Oh, okay. All right, great. Okay. Yeah, so I agree with you there, Gene. I think that if we take any of those G's, even if you just, and here's the thing is, a lot of times when we're giving the hacks that we give on the live streams, even if you just did a portion of those things, like, so if you only did one of the 5 G's and you worked on that, you would notice the world starting, your reality starting to shift because of that, right? So if you just expressed more of your gifts, which essentially means, tapping into what you're truly passionate about, and what excites you the most, because that's going to be radiating with your gift, right, of who you are and what you bring to the planet. Well, more of that's going to come back to you. What you put out is what you get back, and that's really the essence of that. Is what you put out is what you get back, right? If you use any of those, then you'll find that they all have the ability to kind of support you. Now, when they're all together, then it's like this power radiating into the world, and also being attracted to you at the same time. And Govind asked, how does law of attraction work? Basically what we just said there, right? So it's, basically the law of attraction is that what you put out is what you get back. But it's not just about I'm going to think the great thoughts and all of a sudden, my house is filled with gold and I have all the resources showing up at my door. There's a lot to it. And really that's kind of the pieces that we break down into some knowledge that you can learn and understand and awareness of and expand your mind. And in every episode, we also give you some tools that you can use, which we call infinity hacks, life hacks, right? Infinity matrix hacks. And they are step-by-step things you can do to increase your capacity to tap into the infinity matrix and shift, alter, and adjust things so that it's kind of like the law of attraction, but we just don't call it the law of attraction, right? Because
and one of the things, Govind, that we're stressing in this last episode, which was actually a recap of a previous episode of the 5G network, is law of attraction works very, very well. But what are you attracting? This is the clincher, and we went really deep into this on the original episode.
I always attract only bad things.
So you're great at attracting things.
That's right. We're always attracting, and what Gary and I have been training for the last year, over a year, is to refine that, so you actually know what you're attracting. So because you always are. And this is what I was explaining to my niece is, you're always attracting. You're always attracting. You're always putting that energy out. But are you putting out the right type? Are you sending out the right signal? Are you asking for are you asking for more money? Well, here's $1. Now you have more money. There you go. We're done. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Oh, okay. But it's refining and defining exactly what it is that you're looking for in your life, and creating that passion and that energy around that.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to get knocked off course. And again, in many of our other live streams, we've talked to the fact of a lot of the narratives and a lot of the way that whether it be social media or the overall mainstream media, really can knock you off track, because they are going to focus your mind. They're going to focus your attention. They're going to focus that energy on really what you don't want. But you get so keyed up and you get that anxiety, you get that anger, and you get that frustration. Well, if that's the way you're feeling, then that's what you're sending out.
Yeah.
and you're going to just simply receive more of it.
Yeah. Which again talks about, whose matrix are you in, which is one of the episodes we reviewed, exactly. Right? Whose matrix are you living in? And if you allow others to dictate that, then you will feel like you don't have the power. You will feel like that you're just kind of, things are happening to you all the time. Well, if you learn how to tap into your own matrix with your own vibration, your own frequency, then you can start to shift and alter that. But remember that you've, up until however old you are, Govind, and you don't need to tell us, but however old you are, you've spent your entire life up to this point to master manifesting and attracting whatever you're currently manifesting, attracting right now. Right? So you've mastered that skill. So whatever you're manifesting, good, bad, or indifferent, you've mastered that. So to think that you're going to now all of a sudden listen to one video or read one book or do one exercise and things turn around completely, you got to understand there's a process, right? There's going to be a shifting. You got to shift your belief systems. You got to shift the daily behaviors and habits that you do. You got to change you got to essentially shift your identity from I am someone who creates lack or negativity to I'm someone who creates joy and ease and flow and abundance. And there's a process in doing that, right? It's not just okay like that. It can seem like that at some points and sometimes, but the reality is that you've been so entrenched in doing things one way that what we need to do is we need to start to shift you in a way that doesn't tear apart your identity so you feel like you're crazy, right? So you need to do these things in shift. Say it again.
I said gratitude is one of the good tools to
absolutely.
do that.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the most powerful ones. I mean, there's a lot of powerful ones, but gratitude is the simplest and the most easiest to do. Yeah. Right. I mean, it's just, you just look at the things that you have that you're grateful for, and you can see others in the world that don't have those things and just be grateful for it. And there's so many expressions of gratitude that we can do. And the more you do that, you're putting out that you're grateful for the abundance that's in the world around you. Then the abundance starts to come back in a variety of different ways. Right. So, yeah, so it's absolutely, there is a way to make law of attraction work. It does work. It always has worked and will continue to work. It's just, what is the process that you're doing, and is it in alignment with what's going to be the easiest way for you? And we're just trying to give you a variety of different ways so you can try different things. And every week we're giving you something completely new. And we do our best to give you something to take away with you after that live stream is done. And I did put the link in the chat for the replays, as well as how you can join in the Facebook group to join us on the streams every week. So please take a look there. I did it on YouTube as well.
Yes. So Govind, we're very, very familiar with Transurfing. Exceptional program.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And I mean, we've gone through all of the Transurfing books a few times. Mm-hmm. And definitely Transurfing is definitely pretty cool stuff too. And if you listen to our stuff, you'll see that it's very in alignment. I think that we speak a little bit more layman's terms than Transurfing does. Transurfing really kind of can throw your head in kind of a right from book one.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah, right.
It is.
And so we're taking that same info. We're putting it in an everyday language, but we're still teaching the same principles and concepts of that. Same with law of attraction. Same with all the other things. We believe we're putting in a way that's more digestible. And then on top of that, we're giving you down-to-earth tools that you can use that are based on psychology and quantum physics and science. We're based on science, right? We're putting those things into actionable steps for you in each of the episodes. So,
and one of the things that Gary and I have noticed over the decades of personal development and training, being the trainers and attending them, is the retention of the material, but also more importantly, we've found that in today's society, especially, it's so easy to get knocked off course. And the materials and the processes that we put together just are all designed just to simply keep you on track, keep you on course. And you can read a book, you could read Transurfing, which is phenomenal. I'm not putting it down in any way, but are you doing that every single day?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's it. Right?
See, yeah, and it's just like, oh, I got to remember. Oh, I just remembered something. Something just reminded me. Now I have to do this. And it's like, well, that's what we're saying is that transmitter is on 24/7. It's on while you're dreaming. It's on while you're awake. It's it knows when you've been naughty. It knows when you've been nice. I just put a little theme in there. But and one of what we have been trying to what we have been doing is creating programs and processes that just simply keep it top of mind.
Yeah.
And it keeps you in your everyday. When you really delve into our material, you'll hear us talking about the code. And there is a code out there. There's a code that is it's in your environment now. It's all around you. And we show you ways of tapping into that code that's going to constantly keep you in the moment. It's going to constantly keep you transmitting what you want to transmit, not what we want you to transmit, what you want to transmit, and then therefore be receiving. And it's what I say all the time is that people do their affirmations 15 minutes or an hour every day, but what about the other 23 hours of the day?
Yeah,
it makes a huge difference. It's like, okay, well, I did it. Well, yeah, you just kind of went through the steps.
Yeah.
But did they take, and are they doing what they're supposed to do? And we want you to be able to take those, for the lack of a better term, it's not affirmations, but we create declarations where you are just living and feeling and vibrating who and what you are and what you want to bring into your reality. And that's the difference. And we've been doing this for 65 weeks. 64 weeks. Yeah, last Thursday was our 64th episode.
Mm-hmm.
And Gene's gone through some of our other programs as well. But the whole thing is for people to understand and remember is that there is so much more that we need to understand. And that's what we do is we just teach people, and everything that we're talking about we've done for free. It's just like, we just want you to know in this day and age of what's going on and the turmoil and the frustration and the angst that's going on with everyone, from the mailman all the way up to probably the president of whatever country you're in. It's there.
I'm from India.
Yes.
You're from India? Okay. Are you in India right now?
Yeah, I'm from
India. Fantastic.
I'm in India.
We have a very, very global international community. So it's fantastic. The more we can spread out, the better it is.
Yeah.
But and what we have found in doing this is that it's the same. It doesn't matter where you're from. Most people are feeling the same. And they're feeling powerless. And what we want to do is give you that power back.
Can you suggest me some good books?
Yeah, some good books. Well, it depends.
Yeah.
I mean,
have you read all the Transurfing books?
No. Only one book.
Yeah, there's 5 of them.
Yeah, I mean, the Transurfing series is definitely a great series to go with. I mean, it depends. I think for a beginner, something like just to kind of get into, I think a really good, and you can give your feedback on this, Ross. I think when someone asks me that about, what we do and that kind of stuff, and is there any good books and stuff like that out there? I think a beginner level digestible book which is written in a fun, easy to like, I want to read the next chapter type book, is Celestine Prophecies.
Yep.
Right. So Celestine Prophecies really starts you to kind of take you on this journey of, hey, things aren't exactly what they seem, and there's some principles and that we can start to apply to notice a difference in our world, in our reality. And it's done in a nonfiction format, so it's a story, right? But it has these lessons embedded within it, and I think it's a good way to go. I think a lot of the other books out there, like the Dispenza and the
Biology Belief.
Yeah, and Biology Belief, I think they're too heavy for most people going into this, unless you already have a scientific mindset. I think they're too heavy for a lot of people. So I think people need something to ease them in. And I think Celestine Prophecy, I think there's three in the series, is a really good one. Another really good one, and again, they're older books, but they're great. Message from Down Under. I don't know if you've ever read that one, but Ross, but it's a really, really good book. It's about this guy who goes on a walkabout in Australia, and it's all these it's really, it's a good spiritual book about tapping into the spiritual laws and stuff like that. It's a really, really good book.
Yeah, I will read them.
Yeah, very, very good books to pick up, and they're good starter places. And then from there, just notice what starts to attract into your life as far as titles and books and stuff like that. Jump onto our live streams every Thursday, and you'll be able to get some more information from the video side of it, and when you start to tap into this type of information in the matrix, what you'll find is synchronicity will allow you to stumble upon the books that you need at the time that you need them, right? And even transurfing, the last one, what I can't remember the title of it. Ross, do you remember the last one, which is where the lady's talking, she's the dominatrix? I can't remember the title of the last one. We'll get it up for you. But it's done in a story format, so it's a little easier to digest with the transurfing info. But still, I believe that if you don't have some of the background of the transurfing stuff, which again is heavy, it's like, for those of you that are watching and listening, if any of you out there have done Marianne Williamson stuff, if you start to read the Course in Miracles, like from the manual, I mean, it's some heavy stuff. I mean, you need to have some foundation to go into that and to get value out of it, I believe. The Neil Donald Walsh stuff, the power, even the power of now, and I mean, all those things, you kind of have to find what resonates with you and where you're at.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that the two that I suggested, are really good starter points. And Celestine, I believe, like I said, has at least three, maybe even four in the series. I can't remember now, it's been so long. But all of them are great to read, and they build on one on top of the other, right?
What's the first one you were saying, Gary?
Celestine Prophecy.
Yes, Celestine Prophecy by James Radfield.
Yeah, James Radfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
And the second one, Morgan, I can't remember her last name, but it's called Messages or Message. I can't remember, it's plural. Message from Down Under. And I believe that's two in that series as well. I think there's a follow-up to that as well. And with Celestine Prophecy, the cool thing with Celestine, which I really liked about it, was after they did the books, they also came out with user manuals, which was kind of like a guide. How do you use what was in book 1, book 2, book 3? So it's also got that addition to it that you can get as well.
Yeah. So, and that's, and that's really what you need to understand, is that reading these books is great, but applying them is where many, many people fall short.
Yeah.
And that's one of the corrections in the system that we would like to make, is giving you, easier digestible tools so that you can better apply all of this knowledge to your life. And we get kind of into this checklist type of a mindset. Oh, I read that one. Oh, I read that one. I read that one. And we look around and say, well, nothing's changed. I read the book. Nothing's changed. You're not applying the book.
And you know, it comes to your question there, Govind, as far as is synchronicity a real thing? I mean, we have actually, it is a real thing. We actually have a master lab, a full program that we're going to be doing in the new year on that. So you definitely want to tune into our stuff, because we have a really, really cool program that talks about synchronicity specifically for extended time.
Right now, now the time is 2:22. You can see.
Right. You know, so those kinds of synchronicities, we talk about a variety of different types of synchronicities and how we can become more aware of them and how they become portals into different realities if we know how to use them. And that's what that master lab is going to be about. But you should definitely check into it. So I'm gonna I hear the kids waking up, so I got to go run and do the Santa thing. Thank you everyone for
well, you're dressed for it.
Okay.
So I got to go open presents with the kids right now. And so one thing I did want to do too, though, is Jean, I wanted to actually gift you something. I'm actually going to send you a copy of Celestine Prophecy.
Oh, that's great.
Because you've been so consistent, and so you're such a loyal person, showing up at midnight every Saturday and being on these. And so I want to send you a copy. So so expect it in the mail. I already have your address because you've been on our program. So expect it. And I'm pretty sure we have it, right, Ross? If not, we'll get it from you.
Yes, we do.
And then expect it in the mail sometime.
So my Christmas gift. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And you know what, Gary, when I was reading about, one of them is gift. And I was thinking of both of you that maybe, I have a feeling that both of you are doing this as your gift to humanity.
100%.
That's what it is.
100%.
The minute I read through again the notes,
yeah,
I saw it tells me that, Ross and Gary are doing it as a gift.
Yeah.
You all could feel it that you need to share so much more to humanity, to wake us up, to wake more people up.
100%. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jean. Appreciate that.
Thank you everyone for being here. Ross, I'm going to give you
I'll keep going
so you can end it when you're ready, and I will go to a blank screen. There he is. All right. Be well, everyone. Thanks for showing up, all you newbies. Look forward to seeing you more. We're here every Saturday, 8 a.m., even on Christmas. And we do live stream onto YouTube. I put the replay link for the chats as well as the group link for the Facebook group. Jump on the group. We have additional bonuses and specials and freebies we're going to be giving away in the new year. We've got an amazing new year planned out for you guys. So make sure you jump on and join us in those. All right. So here you go, Ross. You are.
Here we go. Thank you. Merry Christmas, brother.
All right. You too, Brian. Talk to you later. Okay. That.
All right. So, getting into going off of what you were just talking about as far as synchronicity, I mean, we have showed and explained so many different examples. Synchronicity is in short, it's the universe talking to you. So we look at the idea that we are all being driven, guided by a higher mind. How you want to name that or define that is up to you, but there's a higher mind. And you think of that higher mind, and again, the name of it kind of explains it, is as if it is at the top of a mountain. And when you're at the top of a mountain, you can see throughout everything. You can see the valley, you can see the town, you can see the roads, you can see the paths, you can see, you can see everything. And you're on this path. And so the higher mind is going, I know what you want, or at least I know what you've told me that you want. You've transmitted to me in energy and in emotion and in spirit and passion. So I'm going to, for the lack of a better term, I'm going to test you, or I'm going to start to steer you off of the path that you're on if it's the wrong path. And I'm going to put these little things in your path right now. And they're going to each one's going to just pull you off just a little bit, guide you off of that path. And those are synchronicities. Those are things that make you stop and kind of, and then you just course correct. And then you see another one, and then you course correct. And you see another one, then you course correct. And that's what synchronicities are. And one of the things that we have stressed so much in the live streams that we've done is we want to bring you to a place where we call the eye of the storm, your choice convergence point. And what the choice convergence point is, it's in that eye of the storm, and you're watching the chaos go around you, but you're calm. And you're watching it, and you're just like, and you're seeing everybody's reacting and going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And they're reacting. You're just calm, and you're making your decisions. Well, when you're calm, when you have that calmness, when you have that control and such, then you can see those synchronicities. Oh, there's something. Oh, there's something.
Yeah.
And you can constantly see those. And when you see them and you respond to them, and you don't necessarily have to do anything with them, but you see them and say, oh, well, fantastic. And then you simply appreciate, you show gratitude for the fact that that has popped up into your life. And it can be very, very small. It can be a very, very small thing, or it can be a very, very big thing. But regardless, it's happening for a reason. It doesn't just happen. It's not coincidence. It's not a glitch in the matrix, as they say. They're happening for a reason.
I always think that it's just a coincidence, but exactly. I don't know.
Right. And it's not just a coincidence. And I do qualify that.
It happens with me daily.
Well, there you go. So be grateful for what's happening, and then make that decision of whether that is something that you need to pull into your life. And synchronicities can also be something that can be a message of stop, don't go this way.
Yeah.
But when you're in your choice convergence point, when you're in that eye of the storm, you can see it better. And you're responding to the synchronicity instead of reacting to it. Reacting, we define as an emotional, I got to do this. As to where responding, you can look at it and go, you can weigh out your decision, and you can make a nice, cool, calm decision. But that's what the higher mind is doing, just simply guiding you. It's just like, listen, I know this is where you want to be. I'm going to guide you. Okay, you're on the wrong path, or you're on the right path. And those synchronicities are being put in front of you, and they're becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like if you, I don't know if you ever play video games, the video games where you're the character and you're going through, and I'm not a big video game person, but you're the character and you get the little gold coins, you get these little rewards. You can think of those as synchronicities. Oh, there's another one. Oh, I get recharged. I get another gold coin. I get another gold coin. It's just directing you and such. And it can be amazing. And those are also in a certain way, they're also a test. Oh, so you want to be a millionaire? Okay. Well, I'm going to put. I am. Okay, so I'm going to put a coin on the ground in front of you, and I'm going to see if you notice it, and then I'm going to see if you pick it up, and then I'm going to see if you're grateful that you found that coin. If you just kind of look at that coin and walk past it and like, oh, it's just this. It's just so little. It's not worth my time. Well, think of the message that you just sent.
Yeah, okay? I got it.
If that's just too petty for you, well, what are you going to do with $1 million? If you can't respect that, you're telling me that you're going to respect $1 million?
Yeah,
that's how it works. That's how it works. Yeah. When I see a coin on the ground, I pick it up, I hold it, I'm like, thank you. That's all it is. That's
Yeah.
all you're doing. You don't have to, you don't have to drop to your knees and do anything. You just hang on to it, just go and thank you.
Yeah.
But and a lot of people, if again, using the law of attraction, or wanting something, I want $1 million. Okay, we'll just use that as an example. It's the most common. And says, well, again, what for? What for? Is this just for you, or is this to help the world? Or is this to help your family? Is this to help your friends? Or is it just for you so you can go and do what with it? How is $1 million going to make you feel? Do you think, and again, I'm not asking you, I'm just saying this is how the higher mind works, is that do you think it's going to solve your problems? Because the higher mind already knows it probably won't. Is it going to make you, oh, well, I'm going to have status now. Do you really think so? Or I can live in a nicer house. Okay. Well, then what? So again, it's what we were saying earlier, refine and define. What does it mean? What does it mean to you? What's going to happen? Don't create that endpoint. It's like, okay, well, now I have it. Now what? It's like what a lot of people say all the time is that, when they have emotional problems, things that have gone wrong, relationships like that, they move to another city. So it doesn't matter where you go, you're still there.
Yeah, situation was the same. Yeah.
This is all the same thing. It's just on a bigger level and a deeper level.
What's your opinion about The Secret Book?
Well, we spoke about that many times. I think that the idea of the book and the video that came out, it really it opened up a lot of doors. It opened up a lot of people to. It was kind of like your Law of Attraction 101. It was very, very basic, and it was really, really missing a lot. So if you go back to Thursday's live stream, or you go back to one that we did called The Formula, it was number 23.
Can we watch all streams?
Excuse me?
Can we watch is there a way? Can we watch all streams?
Yeah, you can go to they're all on our YouTube channel. You can go to hackingtheinfinitymatrix.com/replays, and that'll take you to all of our videos.
Channel name?
The Infinity Matrix. And you can just go to YouTube, put in The Infinity Matrix, and that'll take you to our homepage for YouTube. And so, but anyhow, getting back to that, so in episode 23, which we call The Formula, it starts off where the secret left off. So one of the things that, and I experienced this with people around me when The Secret was a big thing, where people really were of the mindset, well, I can just sit on the couch and just wish myself rich, or I can wish myself healthy. I can wish myself this. And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way. There's other parts to the formula. Well, no, I want the easy way. I'm like, well, it's still easy. I want the easier way. It's like, well, it's still easy, but there's more to it. And we really, really believe that in order to get that, to communicate to that higher mind of this is something that I want and I really want it, you need to take action on it. Because you have the thoughts, you have the beliefs, you need to take action on that, a lot of action.
Yeah.
And then above that, or beyond that, you need to be detached from the outcome. And the example that we give in the last couple of episodes is when we're talking about detachment, it means that not setting up, I want to be a millionaire and it has to be this way.
Yeah.
It has to be in a check, this format. It has to come from this direction. It has to be in this amount. It has to be in this specific time frame. Such you have to let go of all that. Okay. Again, you're dealing with a higher mind that knows better than you do.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So you take that detachment. It's like, because ultimately, when you have a very, very specific set of parameters for something that you're looking for. Okay. And but you're so specific on how that is supposed to be, you stop seeing the synchronicities that are actually trying to lead you to it. Well, no, this is the path that I want this to happen in. So that means that also you're going to miss, well, but if you go this way, you know, you're not going to get your $1 million all in one check. You're going to get it on a monthly basis, or you're going to get $1 million worth of opportunities. Well, this opportunity, this is an opportunity to create for an idea that's going to create the $1 million.
Yeah.
Or this is going to put you all of a sudden, you know, you're sitting at some sort of event, and you find that the person sitting next to you is a multimillionaire, and he's looking for somebody that you know, or you have that ability, that gift, and he's been looking for it all along, and it's worth $1 million to him. You see what I mean? Okay. But if you have that set path in your mind, this is how it's going to be, this is what it's going to look like, then these are blinders. And all of a sudden now you're not seeing any of these other synchronicities out there and such. And you're just like, no, it has to be like this. And then you miss all these other opportunities that are here, which could have been $5 million. We are the ones who get in our own way. We are. We are the creators of our realities, each and every one of us. This is the godness inside of us. We are the creators. But we have to stop getting in our own way. We have to stop listening to the people who tell us that we are not. We have to stop listening to the people who say that they are the creators and we are the followers. No. You know, you are writing the story. When you're creating your wish for the law of attraction, you're creating a story. What's the story behind it? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to your family? What does it mean to your friends? What does it mean to the world? That's the story. Because right now, most people are trained to live someone else's story.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
What about the rabbit hole? What is that?
So a rabbit hole is, I don't know if you've ever seen what a rabbit hole looks like, an actual rabbit hole. A rabbit hole goes down and then it has tunnels and branches and branches and branches all through. It's a maze underneath the ground. And so once you start into the rabbit hole and you start going down, you don't know where you're going to end up. And that's why we call this down the rabbit hole, because we don't know. Again, we don't have a set agenda for down the rabbit hole, because we didn't know you were going to show up. We didn't know that you're going to want to talk about law of attraction. So we don't set an agenda. So we don't know where this conversation is going to go. It's like a rabbit hole. It just winds and winds and winds, and sometimes it ends up back where it started, and sometimes it just goes further and further. We've had people on here who have basically kind of taken over the show because they had knowledge that, you know, Gary or myself were like, well, I've heard of this, but I don't know anything much about it. Tell us more.
Yeah.
Jean's been doing the rabbit hole since we've started, and she comes up with all kinds of, you know, interesting questions and in information as well.
Yeah.
And Mary's been on before, and Genevieve, I'm not sure if you have. I think you have. And then we have Pat on now too, that just joined us. So, but it just keeps going deeper and deeper. And this is why we like it so much, is because it's just kind of a free flow. And for those of you who kind of joined us a little bit later, if you just about everybody's got themselves muted, which is fine. It's not a problem. But if you do have a question, please put it in the chat box, and I can answer it that way as well if you don't want to participate in any other way, which is totally fine. But we do appreciate the fact that everybody's joining us here on this Christmas morning. I don't know if you've noticed I've been kind of...
What time it is?
What's that?
What time it is now in your country?
Well, I am in a different part of the United States. I'm visiting my son for Christmas, but generally we start at 8 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time on the West Coast.
I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but now I looked at watch and again it's 2. So this happens 20-30 times a day with me.
What does again?
A synchronicity. You
good.
Can see, watch now, time.
Good. Now
this happens 20-30 times per day.
So now start to look at what kind of a pattern is being developed. Okay, the world is a series of patterns. So that's those synchronicities that are happening. They are happening in a particular type of a pattern for everyone.
It's
the fact that you found us, the fact that you just arbitrarily found us because of some random email, that's a synchronicity. That could be a powerful synchronicity. Yeah. I think Gene first found us when we first started. We're like, well, how'd you find out? I'm not really sure. All of a sudden you were there.
It's kind of funny.
And we're just like, well, then that's what it was meant to be. And we are huge believers of that, is that when something comes into your path, it was meant to be. Was it meant to, and we've shared many stories. Was it meant to put you in the path of somebody else because your gift could help someone else? That's synchronicity. Was it put into your path to guide you in a better direction? That's synchronicity. Was it put in your path to stop you?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it put in your path to save your life? I mean, there's all different types. And then when you step back, and when you're able to step back, and we call it a 30,000 foot view. Okay, when you're so far up, you're not as high as the higher mind, but you're higher up. The higher up you can get, you can start to see the path. You can start to see the pattern of what's happening in your life, and then you start to show gratitude and appreciation for it. Like, oh, now I'm understanding. This happened because of this. Because if this hadn't happened, then it wouldn't have connected this dot to this dot to this dot to this dot, and you're like, oh, I'm just seeing it now. It's amazing. It really is. And it's fun because more and more start to appear, because now you've opened your mind up more.
Yeah. What do you think about psychedelics?
We've had conversations about that. So they have a purpose. Depends on
currently I'm reading a book, DMT, the spirit molecule.
Yeah, DMT. Well, remember though that DMT,
the spirit molecule.
Yeah, DMT is something that your body already produces. You can create DMT just by doing particular breathing exercises, but it is something that the body already creates. And now, obviously, there's also different plant medicines, and that you can get more of it and get a different type of experience. But both Gary and myself are huge believers in plant medicine and plant teachers as well. And again, something that needs to have a lot of thought go into it, not randomly step into it. When it comes to experiencing something like that, you do or should have a teacher, somebody that can help you with a journey.
Shaman.
It's a journey. Well, it can be, just somebody that you trust, because it can be a journey. It's in, on our dimension, it's a very short journey, but nevertheless, though, there have been people who have, experimented with these types of things and didn't have enough knowledge, or they didn't have somebody to help guide them and such.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, the idea that we see society, at least here locally in the United States, is then starting to open up to a lot of these different types of materials. And I think it's fantastic. I really do.
Ross, what kind of plant medicine are you talking about that you?
Well, I mean, there's all different kinds. I mean, you can use, you can talk about, you can talk about cannabis. You can talk about ayahuasca.
Yeah, cannabis is very famous for that.
Yeah, you can talk about DMT. And then you can move into a lot of the the man-made chemicals, the LSD and those types of chemicals as well. So they're all designed to just simply allow us to access a different part of our brain, a different part of our mind.
Oh, I see. But Ross, for us in Asia, we normally take our own homegrown plant. Like, for example, for my drinks, for my water, I normally take pandan leaves, which is a very aromatic leaves. It's just grown in the garden, and you boil it, and then it has a lot of antibacterial benefits, which I infuse my own natural water. And also, because I'm into the yoga thing and all, every day I take turmeric.
Yes.
Turmeric, just add into some water and make it into a ball, swallow it together with neem. So turmeric and neem, when you take it, it builds your immune system. Especially during the COVID time, it's very good to take neem and turmeric to build your immune system. For me, it's more on, it's better to build your system while you are healthy, rather than to wait for you to be sick and then you go and look for the
right. But that's again going that is a mindset that in my country is not the norm, in the United States and in a lot of the European countries as well, but I think mostly in the United States is that we have a mindset of well, I'll take a pill. And, I'll wait until, it's kind of like, I'll wait until it's too late kind of a mindset. I'm not a big fan of Western medicine. It has its place. It has its purpose and such, but I am very, very much on preventive medicine, vitamins, herbs, good food, natural food. And that is, it's something that's, I learned a lot of this the hard way, because I did get, very ill for quite a while ago, but nevertheless, it's like, this just kind of crept up on me. But I talk with a lot of people anymore about health, and I am stunned at the number of people that just like, well, this is what my doctor said, or I'll just go get a prescription for this. It's like, well, if you do this instead, oh, that's too hard. Well, it's not hard. It's too hard now, maybe because you've waited so long, but if you do this, start now. But it's this, I want it. And it's been a narrative. It's been a conditioning for decades. And all the way down to the TV shows that people have watched. I go back now and I watch old shows that I watched when I was younger. But now I hear it with different ears. And I'm like, wow, 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 wow. That's all I can do. I'm just, holy cow. The narrative script, the words that were used is like, I am your source, and this is how we're going to do it. And it's just like, it was just all more of a conditioning. And for the most part, in most of the world, a lot of these plant medicines and these plant teachers are banned. They're outlawed. And that kind of makes you wonder why, because they don't hurt anyone. Very few.
Yeah.
I mean, in the United States, for example, I mean, cannabis is still outlawed in many areas, but nobody's ever died from it. So why would you outlaw it? But you let these other things continue that have killed people or have hurt people. And like, it doesn't make sense. So this is something that is actually better for people. Their bodies are built for it biologically. When it comes to the medicines for plants or from plants, it's just like, this has never hurt anyone, but it has expanded minds. So why would it be outlawed? Don't you want the society, the population to be expanded, to be able to look at the world as a whole instead of looking at the world through fences, through war?
Even for us here in Asia, we have been conditioned to take Western medicine, So when we were growing up, we looked down on the traditional medicine. We think only the older people are taking the traditional medicine. No, we should take only Western medicine, because that's the way to go. And we have been conditioned to that, really conditioned. But then after growing up, but of course, it's easier for us to change, because we have moved from the Eastern society whereby a lot of herbs have been used. Yes. So the acceptance is greater. And a lot of our food is cooked with a lot of herbs. So it's more easier to accept. And that's when I changed my mindset a few years ago to go into more plant-based and so forth. And I could see the tremendous change, the tremendous better health that you become. Yeah.
It's very, very true. I can look at a lot of friends of mine that I've grown up with, and I see the aches and the pains that they go through now, and they look at me and see the aches and pains that I don't go through now, and I'm like, well, I've been doing this longer, I for whatever reason, and I can use Govind, I can use synchronicities as the perfect storyline as to where 20 some years ago, I got very, very ill. And the doctor that I first saw at the time, well, first I went to Western medicine, and I'm like, and all they want to do is just give me a pill. And I'm like, no, I want to know the reason. I want to know the root cause. I don't want to cover up this. I want to solve it. I want to cure it. And so it pushed me. That was a great thing. It was frustrating, but it was a great thing. So that led me to, a different doctor. And he said something to me that I'll never, ever, ever forget. He looked at me, he says, your body has been talking to you for a long time and you weren't listening. Now it's going to make you listen.
Have you ever heard about Ayurveda?
What's that?
Ayurveda. Have you heard about that?
No.
He's saying Ayurveda. I think you've heard Ayurveda medicine.
Yeah. I use Ayurveda. Different. I use all different types. I don't go into
Ayurveda, Ross. Ayurveda is just
it's a type of,
it's a very powerful and ancient.
Yes, yeah.
But that's a series of of herbs, right?
Yeah.
It's not one herb, it's a series of them. So I've learned about it, and I've used it, and I still do. So,
If
but
someone follow
I
Ayurveda,
use a lot of different things. I mean, and again, I don't believe it's kind of like what Gene said is I don't think that it's one thing. It's creating a lifestyle.
yeah, it's creating a lifestyle. If someone follow Ayurveda completely, he will never get sick. But it's very hard to follow because so many things you can't follow then, like no junk food and at all.
Well, I would disagree with that to a degree, because yes, but there's a lot of different things that people can follow. There's a lot of different processes that are out there and that people can get onto. But again, I'll use the idea of what I deal with here in my country, where there's a lot of processed foods. There's a lot of I want the fast food because I don't have the time. I'm working so much. I just need to grab something. Here in this country, many people have been conditioned that food is just to make the hunger go away.
Yeah.
Okay. Where Ayurveda type of medicine or living or is such, which is a lot of food is health, food is energy, food is nutrients, food is and it's so important. And I look at herbs as food as well, because they come from the ground. I mean, it's a whole body. It's clean water. It's clean. A clean environment that you're living in. It's sleep. It's good quality sleep. I'm a sleep freak, so I don't sleep. Gary, and Gary is. When I'm saying I'm a sleep freak, doesn't mean I like to sleep, but I want good, solid, quality sleep.
Yeah. And what's your opinion about music?
I love music.
No. I mean, different kind of music affects our vibration. Like,
Yep, it can. Absolutely. Music is vibration, and we are a vibrating being as well. Music is energy. I don't have a specific type of music that I have. There's all different types of music, and they all have their place. Some will, you can really feel kind of a disturbance. They don't resonate really
heavy
well.
Metal music, like.
And there's others that is very, very soothing, very, very, But I like all different kinds of music, all different types of genres. I'm not a one, just this kind is the only kind, but I'll listen to something and I'm like, this does not resonate with me. And
I really like the Beatles.
Yeah.
But I like classical, I like jazz, I like new age, I like, I like all different kinds. And
Ross, talking about food, because recently I was helping the Cancer Foundation with funds for them. Do you know that in Malaysia, because fast food is like so popular, pizza to McDonald's and so forth, it's like a fad, it's very, very popular here.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised. The number of people who have cancer now in Malaysia are mainly young, very, very young people. Right. And it's mainly due to the kind of food that they eat. It's the fast food, because they love fast food. And they are all in the 20s, early 20s, they have cancer. So they have found this out that the food they eat is actually causing them to have cancer. Very young.
Well,
very young.
I think if you look at that, and I agree with you 100%. If we'll just look at that type of food, and it is a type of food, it is full of preservatives and chemicals. It really has no nutritional value to it anymore.
And then they come with Coke. They come with Coke or they come with Pepsi. Every McDonald's that you buy, it comes with Coke or it comes with Pepsi.
And that sugar hit is going to automatically knocks down your immune system. So, but what's happening is, the science that goes into the creation of fast food is truly amazing. They have refined it down to, the sugar, salt, and fat, and the specific combination to trigger specific neurons in the mind, in the brain, and in the rest of the body. But with these people who are having these issues, like with cancer and just other illnesses, they are, they're eating food that really has no nutritional value. So the body is not getting what it needs to be healthy, to build its own immune system. Now, there's a couple different things with this. Oh, see, Govind, this is the rabbit hole. So,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And I've studied this for a long time. I've done a lot of coaching with people with diabetes to try and get them off medications and such like that. So I've delved into this very, very, very much. So when you talk about fast food, there's a couple of different things to look at. One, when you eat fast food, you eat more of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason that fast food does not satiate your body's hunger is because your body is hungry because it needs nutrition. So if I eat something, but there's no real nutritional value, it's basically what's called pre-digested food because it's been so processed. So there's no nutritional value to it. So the body needs more. It's just like, no, I'm still hungry. It's not hungry for bulk. It's hungry for nutrients. I need real protein. I need real vitamins. I need real minerals. I need all of this so I can do what I'm supposed to do because I'm getting weak. I don't have the energy. So then what we do, we don't have the energy. So then what's our next step? Oh, well, I'm going to have an energy drink. I'm going to have coffee. Okay. And now we're getting that short-term spike of energy. So we go up and then we crash and go down even further than we were before as far as our energy levels. And then we're constantly doing this all day long. Well, then at the same time, because we're using a lot of these different types of energy drinks, etc. Then what we do is the body the body's tricked into like, okay, well, I don't need any food now because I'm getting this stimulation. Now I'm stimulated. I'm overstimulated. That plays havoc on our whole metabolic system. But then now you're not eating. You're still not going to, well, I have to go home and eat a salad, or I have to go home and eat something more nutritious. We just don't do it because, well, we've satiated the body in a different way, stimulated the body with a different type of energy. So it's like, well, I needed food for energy. You gave me energy, but it wasn't the energy that I needed. It was a stimulant, and it just causes this havoc throughout the entire body, throughout the system. And then we add stress on top of that, the daily stress that we go through. We add the fact that we're getting very, very low quality sleep, primarily because we're overstimulated. We have our REM system is thrown off completely because of the computer screens and the phone screens and the TV screens. Then you've got your, at least here in the States, you have your fluoridated water, which is going to do some calcification on the pineal gland. That in turn, now you're not even getting the reconnection with the higher mind and the universal spirit, because the pineal gland is starting to become calcified. I mean, it's just everywhere we turn, there are just these different obstacles. But we have to keep going. We have to keep going. And then, boom, what Jean just said. Now I'm young, and now I'm sick.
Yeah, so young, 20, 21, 22.
Yeah. And I haven't even talked about smoking and vaping and all that other kind of stuff. We're just talking about food. We're just talking about just the stuff that we're putting in our body. Because nobody understands. I'm sorry, I don't mean to use the word nobody. Many people simply don't have the knowledge. They don't know any better. It's not their fault to a degree. because they don't simply know better. This is how they've been trained. This is how they've been conditioned. And this is what I was saying earlier, as far as that, the medical industry as a whole, they kind of want to keep you sick. It's job security.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
So, I mean, I still see doctors. I still see Western doctors when I need to have different tests and such.
Yeah.
But my whole process is that I approach Western medicine. I approach Western doctors in a different sense, depending on who they are. I kind of put them through kind of a few tests of my own, but I pay them. Even if it's through my insurance, they're still getting paid because of me, because I'm paying for the insurance. But nevertheless, though, and I tell them, I just say, listen, you work for me. Okay. Oh, no, you're supposed to listen to me. No, you work for me. Okay. You are to diagnose me. If I have a particular problem, I want your expertise, because they do have expertise. I want your expertise on what the problem may or may not be. I want your opinion of different treatments, and then I'll take it from here.
Ross, just now, Mary asked a question which is good about the pineal gland, whether it can be reversed if it is classified. You have it?
Yes, it can. Yeah, generally there's a couple different ways. I mean, one, again, especially here in the US, where fluoride is put into the water. The first thing I would recommend is, one, get some filters on your water at home. The ones that take out fluoride are very expensive, so just to let you know that. Two, you can you want to stop using any kind of like a fluoridated toothpaste, anything like that. You want to stop doing that. And the one of the best things that I've learned just recently, actually, is taking iodine. And you can get just little droppers of iodine. You put that under your tongue and dose on iodine on a daily basis, and that will start the detoxification process. Iodine. Yeah, liquid iodine.
Oh, iodine. Oh, okay. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. So those are some really, really good ways that will help. You'll find that the pineal gland will decalcify itself if we can stop the bringing that fluoride, mostly the fluoride, into your system. Because it's kind of like it reminds me of a friend of mine who wanted to go see my doctor, and this friend of mine smoked, and the doctor said, "Well, do you smoke?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Are you willing to stop smoking?" And he said, "No." He goes, "Then why am I going to try and make you healthy when you want to keep putting this bad stuff into your body?" Kind of the same thing is, you want to open up your pineal gland. You have to stop the bad stuff from coming in. So with those is what I would try first. I would try those first.
Because
is
water
there
is
any herbs or
I mean, water is very important, so we got to have the right kind of water, because every day we're drinking water. Yeah. And I also believe that I don't like the bottled water that you buy, the mineral water outside. It's better to do your own water, but then, as you said, you have to take away you have to filter it. Yeah,
right. Well, there's like we had two freshwater springs that came off of the mountains that we would go to and collect water, and the area where we lived in, they shut them down.
Oh.
And oh my God, it was kind of a pain. We'd go and get 5 or 8 gallons at a time. No, wait, I'm sorry. No, 15 gallons at a time. We get five 3-gallon containers, and we'd fill those up, and then we had a dispenser here at the house. And I felt a tremendous difference when I drank that water. And it wasn't, you didn't do any processing. You let nature process. It just literally came off from the mountain. And so nature would clean it itself. And, but then, the counties shut them down. Odd. And there's no answer to it, but we can't access them anymore. Now we just drink as clean of water as we possibly can. And water in itself can be so overly processed as well. And I can, between the spring water and, bottled water, or even our tap water, it was such a difference. I mean, it felt, the spring water felt different. It felt different. It just felt thicker. And it could have been my mind. It was hard to say, but it just felt like there was more in it. And there was. Yeah, there's, meditation practices will help with the pineal gland. Herbs, there's a number of different herbs that are for herbs to improve vibration. I think, I don't know of an herb that is specifically to improve vibration, but again, I know you asked a lot about herbs. I know you ask a lot about herbs and things like that. Again, the way I would answer this question is that it seems like you're trying to go outside of yourself when your vibration comes from inside. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Meditation is going to be the most effective.
Yeah.
Okay, it is the
but absolute. I'm not consistent. That's the problem with me.
What?
I'm not consistent.
Huh?
Yeah.
Here's the thing when it comes to consistency. You know that you're not consistent. You have a habit of not being consistent.
What?
Do you have a habit of not being consistent?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you a kind of a knock upside the head right now. Okay. It's no longer a habit because you just brought it to attention. It's now a choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you understand the difference? Now that you know about it, it's a choice. It's lower on your list of priorities.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about meditation, let's talk about your definition of meditation. Okay. Many people shy away from meditation because they think that it's just too time consuming. Oh, it's just so hard. It's just too time consuming. Well, then just meditate for 5 minutes. Meditate for 2 minutes, 1 minute. Just start.
Yeah.
Just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Meditation is a process. There's no end result. There's no final place of meditation. It's just a process. It's like eating food. It's like eating good food. Now you're going to think better thoughts. You're going to think better. So just relax into it. Do it for a minute. If you can't, it's hard to imagine that anyone can't find time to meditate. But
no,
it is easy for me to understand where people don't have the will or the want to meditate. Do you understand the difference?
Sorry, what? Yeah. I got it.
Okay. So if you really want to start meditating, then you start meditating as soon as this call is over. You just for 1 minute.
Yeah.
Do you have a cell phone?
Yeah, I have.
Do you have a calendar in your cell phone?
Yeah.
Do you have a reminder that you can attach a tone to that calendar?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you decide today, right after this call, or you can decide right now on this call and commit to everybody. On at this particular time every day, and you know your schedule better than anybody else here. At this particular time, every day, I'm going to meditate for 1 minute. And you put that into your calendar, and then you attach a reminder tone so it dings or does whatever and such.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I will do it.
And then when that calendar goes off, what happens? You make a choice.
Yeah.
Everything is a choice. You make a choice. Yeah. Am I going to meditate for 1 minute? Do I have 1 minute right now? Am I so busy that I don't have 1 minute right now, even though I predetermined that this is the best time of day for this to happen? And then if you say no, okay, and that can happen. You say, no, I can't meditate right now because something has happened. Then great. Move it to another time of that day, same day. Not I'll do it tomorrow. Same day. Move that 1 minute somewhere else. Okay. And again, your meditation it doesn't have to be I know people who just, that are at work and they go out to their car for 5 minutes. They just find a quiet spot and they just go out for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
That's how you start. And then you go, oh, wow, that 1 minute wasn't so bad. I think starting tomorrow, I'm going to go to 2 minutes.
Actually, meditation, it's the best way to go inward.
Yes.
It's one of I do that every day because I'm into the yoga, and you have to do that every day. Yeah. So it actually is very good. It teaches you to move into your consciousness more. I mean, it's a way to move you there. Yeah.
Yep. It's very powerful. Very, very powerful.
Because I think together with food, meditation, doing light exercise, the right kind of exercise, that would actually help our body to function much better.
Mm-hmm.
No need to do the very, very heavy exercise unless you have all the energy and you have the youth, like you're in the 30s, and then you can do all that. So I think it's to move the meridians is very important, so that you let the meridians be unblocked. Yeah. And then to do the right kind of exercise, not too heavy, but and then yoga is one way that can help a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're asking, is it okay to talk about energies? Well, ask your question and we'll kind of go from there. There's no list of what you can and cannot talk about on this show. Are you talking about your physical energies, or what are we talking about, Govind? Sexual energy. Okay. Well, yeah. What's your question?
Yeah, do we have to save it, or what's your opinion about it? I mean,
that's really more of a something. Again, there's no right or wrong way. It's what works for you. Okay, so one of the things that you'll find when you delve into our live streams and such is that we don't dictate a particular way or belief system. We just show you that there's different ways of thinking to approach situations that you might be running into. So you find something that you want to enhance or correct or change or whatever and such, and then you find out if it works best for you, what works for you. Anything that you ever read, even from the big gurus and everything is simply their opinion of what works best for them, or if they've been in doing things like the training long enough, what has worked the best for their pupils. But it still keeps coming down to what works best for you.
Yeah, got it.
So if we want to increase sexual energy, if we want to preserve sexual energy, does it work best for you? Okay. If you want to preserve it, great. Then that's fine. I've worked with people who are on both ends of that spectrum.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what works best for you? Does that work for you? Yes. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there are no boundaries. There's basically what we call permission slips. And permission slips are where you are looking for permission to give yourself to yourself, okay? Because you can't get a permission slip from me. You can get ideas from me, and then you're going to give yourself permission to do it in such a way. It's relatively a belief system.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, and this belief works for me. This works best for me, and there's nothing wrong with it. You're not going to see me go, well, oh, I can't believe you did that. Oh my gosh. It's like, no, does that work for you? Yeah, great. Did that, or where, and Gene will attest to this, where you've had many people say, well, that doesn't work for me. Well, then don't do it. Just then stop doing it or change it or modify it. But we want to live in this box, and it's like we're saying, no, just get rid of the box, expand yourself, try a little bit of this, and meditation is a perfect example. Some people can go into it just like that. Others struggle with it, but they struggle with it because they think it has to be a particular way, and it's not. There's not a way. There are tons of different permission slips when it comes to meditation. There are people that use devices that help them meditate. Well, great. Does it work for you? Yes, it works perfect. Great.
Yeah.
Well, you have the other ones who will say, oh, you have to use that. It's like, well, why is there that limitation? If it works for this person. See, we want too much to, we're trying to fit into everybody else's box. It's like, just figure it out. Just, try this or try that, try this, try different ways, talk to people. That's one of the great things about rabbit holes that, or even the internet all together, is that there's so much information out there. In some cases, too much. So you want to try and refine it down a little bit to what resonates best with you. But we like rabbit hole because, people are getting your opinion, Gene's opinion, my opinion, able to ask questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Mary, how are you today? Mary, I know you're there. You always wait to the very end.
Oh, you know me. I like to listen. I'm sorry about the wind. I'm outside.
That's okay.
I like to hear what everybody says because I always learn something from someone else, Right. But I do actually have a question.
I knew you would have a question.
And you may or may not have already answered this. And my brain is sort of working on the earlier bits of the conversation. But I see it. So obviously, because I have a question about it. But I tend to pick up energies from other people really, really easily. And it isn't always identified very quickly as being from another human, as their vibration, And my question is, I guess, as Govind said, I'm not real consistent about clearing those energies, but of course, sometimes it takes me a minute to notice. It's like, wait, whoa, where did that come from? Who have I been with lately? did I pick that up? Did I decide it for myself? And because there's sort of an element of trying to pick through that, because if I had decided it for myself, even if I had decided it subconsciously, perhaps there's something along my path that needs healing or needs attention or something like that. But certainly if I've picked it up from someone else, which does happen, I'm extremely perceptual in that way, and feeling others' vibrations and internalizing it is something I was taught as a very small child in order to appease my mother. So you understand where that comes from. It comes from a place of trauma.
Yeah.
And sometimes that drives my bus for a while with regard to what manifests in my life. And I can and have seen whether we are actively manifesting or subconsciously manifesting, I can tell you 1,000 things that have happened. And I'm like, well, at what point did I manifest that? Is that manifested because it's somebody else's? And it's not necessarily, it's not necessarily like, I'll just use this example. Not like I'm not watching the media. So the media doesn't get to, because I'm aware that I pick up those energies. But we do have to interact with each other. And sometimes, like I said, I'm unaware that I've picked it. I actually keep myself fairly isolated from people because of this, because I pick it up. And of course, the world is in a state of chaos, and it can be painful to be in public for me. Because I'm trying to grocery shop and someone an aisle over is really angry, and now I'm leaving the store and I've had it, I kind of want to know, how do y'all deal with that? What's a simple, and it's got to be simple because I'll forget to do it otherwise, a cleansing mechanism, if you will, to eliminate somebody else's burden, to put that back where it belongs. And, carrying it is.
Right. So let me put it to you this way. It's not a matter of cleansing that energy from you.
Okay.
Okay. Because if you put yourself into that mindset, then you're going to be absorbing, cleansing, absorbing, cleansing, absorbing,
yeah,
cleansing,
right.
absorbing, cleansing, absorbing, cleansing.
Okay.
So the idea, a better idea, let me put it to you let's say it that way, is to create a system in place for yourself that just simply doesn't allow that energy to come to hit you. See what I mean?
Yeah.
See the difference?
Yes, absolutely. Prevention. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
That's right. Okay, so and it's something different. I've had a lot of people ask me this very same question. So you're not alone in any means. Matter of fact, there are, I would go to some of the, on Facebook, there's a lot of empath groups and pages where they're interacting, telling each other different techniques. My technique that I've used in the past is the circle of power. And for example, imagine you're outside right now, you said? Mary, are you outside?
Yes, I'm outside.
Okay.
I spend a lot of my time outdoors.
Okay, and that's fantastic. Oh, that's even better. Okay, so imagine that you're standing in one place. You're just standing there. If you can do that right now, you're just standing. Your feet are together. Okay. And then simply look down at the ground and imagine that you are standing inside a circle. You're standing inside this circle. Inside this circle, you are protected. Okay. No one else's energy can permeate this circle.
You just set a beautiful boundary for me because of because of the way that I learned this. When you're very young and you're dealing with apparent.
I understand. So,
You
but
don't
also,
realize that you can.
also remember that that is something that you learned.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
but what we're going to take from that is the fact that you've learned that that is out there. So now we're just going to simply allow it to stay out there.
It's a good plan.
Okay, now.
It's.
Okay, so, but you still have to interact with the world.
Yes.
Okay, so you're inside that circle. Everywhere you go, you're inside that circle. Everywhere you go, you're inside your protective circle. When you choose to interact with someone else's energy, you're going to take one step outside of that circle. Physically. And nobody's going to notice it. I'm not talking like a giant leap. You can just, it can be a matter of a 6-inch step. Okay, you're going to simply step outside. Now, when I first started doing this, I literally took that step. But now I can just do it in my mind.
That really works.
No, I'm just making it up. Of course it works. Okay. Does this work? Do you see where I'm going with this, Mary?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I'll also try it.
Okay, so I want you to try that out for a week. Check in on the next rabbit hole, and let me know how it's working. Gary's got some other processes as well.
Well, that just seems really simple. It seems good to.
It is.
It's setting a boundary.
You're setting a boundary.
It's setting a very healthy boundary, and that actually is. And I've seen it, and I've set some boundaries, but that actually is a multi-purpose boundary.
Yeah.
You know, rather than setting a boundary one at a time, that basically sets them all. Because
Correct.
what happens then is without that circle, so let's say before this moment, I would get set off balance by things that people would say to me, and then not be able to necessarily then build a boundary with my words.
Right.
And basically then absorb their energetics that they are happy to lay on top of you.
Yep.
And
sometimes they don't know they're doing it either.
No, and that is true. That is definitely true. You know, I'd like to be able to ask folks every now and then, did you mean that the way it sounded to me? You know, just something so simple, but I'm like just caught so off guard by something that they've said. And having a boundary would allow me, having that would allow me not to take and absorb things personally, and I'm aware of that, but it is definitely a good overall use. Yeah.
So I actually originally developed this back when I was very young. You know, I was in my early 20s. That's young these days. Because a lot of the people that I was working with at the time were very aggressive. Okay. And I never wanted to be like that. But at the same time, I was trying to build myself up a defense when I'm interacting with these people. And I'm like, man, and nothing, I was similar to you. I was like, nothing's working. And then I just kind of stumbled across this process. I'm just like, I'm just going to imagine that I'm in a circle. And when I'm interacting with people, I'm always in this circle, and they can't get past this circle. Their energy, their anger, their blah and such. But when I needed to interact, then I would just simply step out. And so when I'm talking to them, I'm literally stepping forward, I'm stepping back, I'm stepping to the right, I'm stepping to the left. And it was just part of my process. And so then ultimately I got so good at it where I could just do it in my mind. But it worked. It worked almost, it worked instantly.
I could feel how it would. Absolutely.
It does. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And during the live stream, we're talking about manifesting things.
Right.
Sometimes, you are manifesting things you never really intended, and you're trying to figure out where on earth those things came from.
Right.
And the only conclusion I can come to is sometimes I feel like I'm spinning out of control, but I don't understand necessarily where the emotion comes from. And then it occurs to me, well, maybe this belongs to somebody else. This doesn't necessarily belong to you, because it's possible. And I do know that I can I can see through people like a glass window. And at the same time, like I said, I had become an expert at absorbing things that are uncomfortable for other people and then making it better for them, because that was, a learned behavior. And I thank you for the circle, because I think that's going to help enormously. Okay. There is one other question I have, and that question is, and I think it's already answered. So when we're manifesting things that we want, whatever it is, an emotional state of being, a thing, a material thing, a spiritual growth, whatever. Oftentimes I imagine what it is that I would like to have, but I don't have all of the details. Okay, so I leave some of the details to the universe. And then when it gets here, it's like, whoa, Nellie, no, that is not what I wanted, but I am in deep. And it's definitely hard to leave what it is that you've manifested, because it comes with a level of responsibilities typically. And so it's not like a pen where you can just say, hey, here, you can have this one because I don't want it, right? This is not what I needed. I needed something different. And maybe I'm just making it more difficult than it should be. And I think that what you'd said about once you get it, then you can redefine. Like
you can redefine, but originally,
redefine it. Yeah.
If you're manifesting something that you didn't want, or it wasn't the version that you wanted, then it's your definition from the beginning. You're not defining. And then as things start to, they kind of start to, start to kind of come together, like, oh, I'm not sure if this is exactly what, then redefine it. Don't stop it, just redefine it.
The question is,
you're the creator.
Yes.
Okay.
So the question is, in that creation process, I'm working on becoming, I'm going to use the really incorrect terminology here.
That's fine.
It's not exactly what I mean, but it's what's dropped into my mind.
Okay.
I'm working on becoming a whole person.
Okay.
Instead of a fragmented being.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So
that's good terminology.
When I'm manifesting whatever it is that I want, I am manifesting some from the wholeness and some from the fragmentation. So I guess what I'm asking is, when the manifestation happens, it's being manifested with some junk, right? Okay. For lack of better terminology.
Okay, so let me ask before you go any further, let me ask you this. You're talking as if there's two separate people. Isn't the fragmented part of the wholeness?
True.
Well, but you're not talking about it like that.
I see. And when I felt like a separate person until you brought it to my attention that it isn't a separate person. Okay, I understand that.
Okay.
I get it. I understand that.
Was there more to the question?
No, I was just thinking that, that I don't often get what I can't necessarily, or I struggle with the manifestation because there is a perceived separateness is probably the problem. Not that there is stuff there that is not part of the whole. I'm treating it like it is not part of the whole. I'm treating myself like I am like 3 different people packed in one body.
Right.
Or at the very least 2 different people packed in one body.
Okay. Now you want to coalesce. You want to coalesce those 3 individuals into one. So there's an episode that we did about the archetypes, and I don't recall exactly what episode it was.
Yeah, I'd watch that one. I can go back and find it and watch it again.
I would go back and see it again, because we all have these different archetypes within our personality. They're there. The idea is to pull forward the one that you need at that particular moment.
Got it.
Okay. Not allow them to operate kind of on their own. And that's probably, and I'm just speculating here, but it's your archetypes that are making you feel fractured. Right?
Okay. I will dig into that.
I'm not telling you, I'm asking you.
No, I don't know. I'll dig into it. I need a minute to to look at it, to stand at it and look at it. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So
that's the answer I have for the moment.
Well, that's fine. And I appreciate your truthfulness and your honesty. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. This is a process of knowing, of learning. And when we could admit that we don't know something, means that now there's an opening to put knowledge and information there, a solution. So a lot of times we feel that we have to be a certain way all the time, when that really, and of those archetypes, of those 5 archetypes, there generally is going to be 2 or 3 that are dominant. Okay. And, but they all should have the same common goal. Life goal. I mean, they should all have still the same common goal. If you're that fractured and they're taking you in different directions, then it's a matter of creating, a commonality, a goal for them. A common. Okay. So look at it like that. Go back to the archetype episode, and then if you have any questions, just IM me. That's you're more than welcome.
I will. And my third and final question would be: I've read The Power of Now, A New Earth, The Biology of Belief, The Body Keeps the Score, some other deeper, more technical sort of readings. What in the book recommendations? Do you have any that would be, say, I don't know?
Well, we talked about, we actually did say something about this, I think, before you got on today. One of Gary's and myself's favorite is the Celestine Prophecy.
Yes.
It's very concise. It's kind of a very easy read.
Okay.
It just kind of depends on, it sounds like the ones that you've just described are pretty heavy. Joe Dispenza's books are all phenomenal books. Okay. But that's for me, because I personally like the science that is behind them. That's just my geek coming out. But it depends on the genre that you're looking at, as far as what resonates best with you while you're reading. Do you like the lighter type of reading, or do you like?
I like it all. I like it all, because all of it has value.
Well, then I think it would be more of a matter of what answers are you looking for, or what solutions are you trying to solve when it comes to figuring out which book it is that you would like. And I would put it out to the group. Hey, I'm looking for a good read like this. And everybody, very, very like-minded people within the group, and some new people that have joined are spectacular with the information that they're posting and the comments that they've had. And that's the whole idea, is to create a group that everybody's helping each other. And
so, forget to use the group.
It's a great tool. It really, really is. I strongly recommend it to anybody that might be on here. It's just a private group.
What's the name?
Well, you can just go to the Infinity Matrix private group. I'll put it here in the comments. But it's a private group on Facebook. There's no charge to it or anything like that. But it's a lot of it's comprised of like-minded individuals that, you know, have got great insights. We've had a lot of them on the show, and they, hang on a second. I spelled it wrong. 1 second.
Okay, I have requested for join.
Yeah. So just as long as you answered the questions, otherwise the system just can't just kicks you out. But let's see if I can pull it up right now while I've got you here. Give me 1 second. Let's see what we can see. There you are. All right, you are in, my friend. So there's a really good source of information there, lots of notices and things.
Yeah.
So
Thanks
strongly
for
recommended. Lots of, it's like I said, you know, put the question out to the group. They can give you some great insights. And then if you hashtag Gary's name or myself, then that'll automatically, that post, whatever question you have there will automatically come to us, and then we can better and faster answer your questions. There's a lot of posting, so it's hard for us to read every single thing in a timely manner. So if you put in, you know, Gary Johnson or Ross Arnson, it'll just automatically send us a message so that we can better answer it quickly while it's still it's fresh in your mind. Okay, Mary, anything else?
Nope.
All right. Fantastic.
Not today.
I mean, I have, you know, I can't tell you how many books I have sitting on the shelf waiting on my to be read pile. It's like, oh my gosh, and I just keep finding more and more. There's some amazing stuff out there. There's one that I just heard an interview with the author called Peak Mind. PEAKMIND. And she's a neuroscientist that it sounds fascinating what she's talking about. And it's all about mindfulness. And it was very interesting interview because she's talking about where she wanted to delve into the realm of mindfulness at a time when that was kind of shunned and looked down upon in the actual realm of neuroscience. They're like, no, if we can't see it, touch it, or feel it, it's not real. And now, you know, as she's been doing this for 20 years, she's like, everybody is finally kind of caught up to her. And it sounds like a very fascinating book. So that I just ordered that one a couple days ago. And but I'll let you know. Somewhere, somehow, in our other 1,000 things that we want to do, is we're going to try and come up with some sort of a reading list or library of recommendations, and leave it open to the group as well. It's just hard to do that sometimes because then all of a sudden it becomes a commercial site, you know, for everybody trying to get you to buy their book. You're just like,
right.
Oh, okay,
right.
And we want real legitimate. It's kind of like going on Amazon or one of these, you know, book reviews. Just like this, we want, you know, you want to read actual reviews on a book, you know, not a commercial. But anyhow, it's in the works. We're going to figure it out somehow. Okay, so any other questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you were actually asking a question earlier about the biology of belief. What was your question on that book?
No. Power of your subconscious mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think Bruce Lipton wrote that. That was by Joseph Campbell.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Joseph Murphy. Sorry. Wrong author.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great book. That's an excellent book. That's another book that's one of those.
By Dr. Joseph Murphy.
That book was written so long ago, and it's so relevant today. So it's an exceptional book. So, Jean, have you read that? Power of Your Subconscious Mind?
No.
Yeah.
Very good.
Only read the Power of the Now.
Joseph Murphy? Was it Joseph Murphy or Joseph Campbell?
Yeah.
Murphy.
Joseph Murphy. Yeah.
Joseph Murphy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very good book.
What's the name of the book?
The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. It was written 60 years ago. And it's a very, very good book. As a matter of fact, I think I've read it 3 or 4 times.
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
And Gary and I are both firm believers in audiobooks.
Yeah, it is written in 1963.
I always have something running in the car. I'm always listening to something here at home. I always have most of the time, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. But generally when I'm writing and doing our creative material, I have music going. I have certain music that I like to listen to for the creative process. But generally, if I'm driving, I don't listen to the radio. Are you familiar with Brian Tracy? He calls the radio in a car bubblegum for the brain. And it's always stuck with me. I'm like, yeah, it's about right. It's actually really, really good. So I've always had, some sort of audiobook going on or some type of an interview that I'm listening to of subject matter that suits me. So,
well, I hope you have a great holiday.
Well, we are having a great. I'm not even at home. I'm actually at my son's down in Denver. We flew down to Denver a couple of days ago. So he was originally supposed to come home for Christmas, and his work things just kind of got messed up, and they had to cancel it because of COVID and all that kind of stuff. And so I said, if you can't come to us, we're going to come to you. So he just got home from work. He's a police officer and he works late. So so it's great. So nobody's missing me. So I'm just tucked away here in this little studio room.
Oh, good.
I don't know if you ever noticed I keep turning away is because I've got this, his dog keeps coming in. Rebel's very lonely. So come play with me.
Was that who was fussing the other day? I heard somebody whining.
Probably. Yes. Oh, yes. On the live stream. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm sending a text to my wife. I said, come get Rebel.
Yeah. I could hear somebody was telling, pay attention to me. I don't know what you're doing.
Exactly. That's exactly how it is. And
that's why I have
we're a big dog family. So we spoil the heck out of the dog. So all of a sudden, like, well, wait a minute. I'm not going to have an hour of not having your attention.
Right.
So we spoil them pretty quickly.
That's why I have to come outside, because otherwise I just get pestered, because there's 4 of them in there and they're all vying for my attention.
Yep.
Always.
I understand that. That's great.
Always. So.
Okay. So I guess that'll wrap it up for today. Merry Christmas again to everyone, or however you celebrate your holiday. We so appreciate the fact that you took some time out of a special day like this to visit with us. And we have this is the last rabbit hole for the year. So how do you like that? That's amazing. And we've got so much in store for next year. Oh,
and also have a wonderful ending of 2021 and a beautiful 2022. Look forward to seeing all of you. Mary.
Jean, I'm always so impressed that you always look so fresh, considering it's midnight. I would be with my head on the desk sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm used to it because I always tell my staff when there was this lockdown, we Zoom meeting. We have Zoom meeting all the time. So I told them, even though you're at home, think of it that you are going for a meeting, because we are meeting up with buyers and all that in other department store, And I say, you dress up to go for a meeting, So it has become like so I just tie up something, Yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, we are so excited that for the time when we can actually do live events. That's what Gary and I just it kind of goes off of what you were saying, Mary, is that doing the online stuff is great, because we can still get our messages out, and we can still interact, and we can still help people. But there's just that energy of when you are with people and around people is so different, and I thrive off of that energy. I really do, and Gary does too. But you'll just see us. We just get more and more excited as because it just starts to radiate when you're in a room of like-minded people all radiating that same energy. I mean, I swear that the walls start to glow. So we're looking so forward to meeting everybody in person and doing.
But of course, we can't fly there, It would take us 2 days to fly there to reach there. 48 hours. Yeah.
Somehow, I'm telling you, Jean, it will happen one way or another. Either you're flying here or we're flying there.
Okay.
So
I've been. Yes.
I am not going to limit that thinking whatsoever.
Yes.
That's always in our plan, and because and again, people absorb information differently. Some people simply don't absorb the information when they're getting it online, and or from a book. They need the live events. And again, going off of what we've said, the premise of what he and I have been doing for 12 years is to have created the infinity process, where that retention of the information, and you're constantly applying it. You're not just applying it while you're learning. One of the taglines that we use for our process is that learn it once and you live it forever, because it stays and it's continually working, and the code just starts to grow. And I mean, it is unbelievable, and that's what we want. And when you're in a group of in a room with people, and they're all starting to, you see them, you just start to kind of see they're like, oh my gosh, and it's amazing. It really is. So anyhow, what's that?
I was going to say, it's a big deal to be with each other energetically. Energetically, we exchange, when we're in each other's presence. So that's pretty cool.
So one of the things I want to add to that, Mary, is that sometimes you're going to be into a situation, or you may find, maybe not, to where it's like all this, something's permeating your circle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So think of that circle, but now it has a thicker border. Okay. It's like a pane of glass, but now you have a double layer of glass, or it's a thicker piece of glass. But it just starts to have a thicker border. If you're finding
the cool thing,
you are so sensitive to that energy that you.
The cool thing is I do have a sense of discernment. So it would be there are certain times it is proper to let individuals' energies in, and somebody has to be pretty slick for me not to be able to read their energy very well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good advice, to thicken the wall. Yeah. And there are those that the wall needs to be thickened for. So, and I don't mean that in a harsh way.
I understand.
But Mary, you must be good to be able to read people's energy. Yeah. So is that a skill that you developed?
It's a skill that I developed through trauma.
Okay.
It was practiced from a very young age, and she didn't mean to do it. but she was using the tools that she had to the best of her ability, which were not good, and in a lot of ways. And so from reading books like The Biology of Belief and The Body Keeps the Score, I learned a lot about myself, and which case taught me also then how to help myself, and having the understanding of the behaviors that I had, and in some cases still have, is allowing me to observe them and change them, and then use them, use it as a gift instead of resenting
Good.
and disliking that aspect of myself. Let's say it that way.
Well, that's Mary, that's part of the 5G network. That's the biggest and the most undervalued G that there is gifts, your gifts.
Right.
So, Mary, you are now utilizing your gift in a good way. Yes. And did you, when you was being used negatively, did you feel resentment then?
Oh, there were so many negative emotions in my body that I ended up physically ill, cancer specifically, right. And breast cancer specifically. And when I was diagnosed, I did some research with regard to Ayurveda, basically sort of looking at what that part of the body symbolized, and it was self-nurture. And so the negative part of that was that I was using this, what I didn't think was a gift at the time, to nurture everyone but myself. And I never took the time for Mary, and I'm 9 years out and I'm still learning. And I feel like I'm almost to the top of the mountain, because I also suffer from adrenal fatigue at the moment, and I'm working on it with a holistic individual, and we're making progress, but there's still a distance to go. And it's because I would just run myself absolutely ragged just to please to please people outside of myself, to do the things and be emotionally available to everyone else except for me. And again, that is the negative part. Setting boundaries is very difficult. And again, that is the negative part. So the positive part is I can use this skill now to protect myself to some degree, which in this crazy world, I can't help but feel is necessary. And I can use it to critically think. It stops me from doing things that I would have previously said yes to. It has stopped me from watching the news and it has stopped me from watching or absorbing the current narrative of the day, which is force fed everywhere you go. It has allowed me to go, I need to look at this information differently. And that applies to all areas, friendships, I don't really work, but I do all sorts of other things. And it allows me to critically think and think sort of outside the box, because I can see things that the regular person can't. Actually, I believe I can see things that regular folks can't. It's because I can pay so close attention to the behaviors of individuals versus what they say. So now I can use that in a positive manner. I can see that the behavior is different from the vocabulary that's used. And one of the frustrating things for me is that I expect people to behave in the manner in which they say they're going to behave, and oftentimes they do not. but they give us clues. They always give clues in the most subtle forms that they are going to do something else. And that doesn't necessarily make someone bad, evil, but it does sort of tell you what their intention is. Mm-hmm. Because we've been taught to say yes when we really want to say no.
Yeah.
And the other thing the gift has given me is the grace to allow people to be who they are. I don't have to. I unknowingly absorb energy sometimes, but when I'm aware, I can let somebody have a different opinion than I have. They don't have to think the same way I do, and I don't have to think the same way they do. So there's a lot of things now that it's just a matter of perception. My perception is different.
Good.
So
sharing to us, Mary. And Mary, thank you so much for sharing with us and being so honest about it. That I truly appreciate. And it's good that you are able to now talk about it. So you're letting go. You're letting go a lot of things. And if I could add just one little line, which I learned too and I realized that due to certain things, I was upset with some people, but I sort of said, I forgive them, And then I realized something. Forgiving them is not good enough. We have to forgive ourselves for being upset with them, even though it was the person's wrong. It was the person's wrong. So we were angry with them. And then we forgive them. But then we were angry with them. But I realized that our anger can only be gone and transformed if we forgive ourselves for being angry, even though it's not our fault.
And we're all only people, right? We're all having a human experience.
Jean, that is so wise. One of the processes that I put a lot of my clients through is just that. And we'll be going through, an induction or some sort of the process. And when they get to that point, because I don't tell them what's coming, they'll just pause. Because they're like, because part of it is like, and I forgive myself for anything that I may have done to attribute or cause this situation to have happened. And everyone pauses, like, you need to say this. And they're like, because it's what Mary said and what both of you have said. We are conditioned not to forgive ourselves. We are conditioned to take the blame. And Mary, when you can start doing that, forgiving yourself for not particularly being the cause, but for whatever participation you had, because you had some sort of a participation,
indeed,
in one form or another, and such. But when you start that, you'll see that adrenal problem that you had will start to come down. Because the adrenals, I'm sure that whoever you're working with has told you, you can put yourself into adrenal fatigue because you're basically in that fight or flight mode 24/7. And the adrenals are just boom, boom, boom. They're just constantly. And then ultimately they just can't. And then when you need them to, they're just like, oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
So, but when we get to that point where we can simply start to forgive ourselves, and this should actually be done on a daily basis. Something before bed is ideal, where you are just constant, you are forgiving yourself for not for being the cause, but just for any participation I may have had.
Yeah, for just being angry or for being upset.
That is correct.
And we forgive them, we forgive ourselves for just being angry, and you realize you're free. The minute you feel that, you're completely free.
Spot on.
Yeah. So I only learned that very much later. It came upon to me when I was,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For the longest time, a good portion of my life, I took the responsibility. I'm the man. I'm this. I took the responsibility. And I'll just take it. And I take it. And I just started taking it for everything. And I burned out too.
Yeah, 30 years ago, I had a friend tell me, "You're just too responsible."
Yeah. Well, there's a different kind of responsibility though. Okay. You're taking it in, and there you can take it in, but you have to do something with it. Okay. We just keep taking in stuff in. We pull it in, we pull it in, and the body, and your mind is just in this loop. It doesn't know what to do with all of this and such. And it's just telling the body, we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this. And then you have the new stuff that keeps happening in the world. And it just puts you into absolute overload. And again, this is where, eventually the body has been telling you, hey, I need you to do something. And eventually say,
actually, my body sort of needs me to do nothing. My body needs me to rest. That is a very clear and concise message that
rest comes under all kinds of definitions. Okay, I'm gonna plus that. Your body needs you to play.
Well, there you hit the nail on the head. I have had historically absolutely zero play.
Yeah, you need to play. You need to find what you like to do most. Okay, and go do it and go play. And then you do just what I told Mohinder earlier. You need to start putting it into a calendar. Okay, on this day, I'm going to do this. What do you want to do? This is you talking to yourself and such. And just don't get in an argument. But what do you want to do? What just thrills you?
So doing this actually just my brain in the background is going blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, we're going to sit here. We're going to sit outside. I'm on the front porch. And we're going to do this today because this thrills me. This actually discussing things with people that are of what I consider as a like mind with myself, and folks that help me grow and expand and be all that this physical form and this non-physical form that's all bound together is intended to be in this life. This sort of thing thrills me, among other things. But so in my mind, this is play, Ross.
Okay, well, I can't argue that, but find something else too. Okay, find something. Find something that's more physical too. Something that's going to kind of get you up and moving around, and that
I do ride horses.
Lock it into your body. What we want you to do is we want you to take it in. We want you to lock it into your body as well. Okay, and it can be anything and such. Whether it be hiking or riding a bike or skiing or whatever, it doesn't matter. Do something physical where you're actually locking it into your body. Give that muscle memory something to do.
I do ride horses. The problem is that it is exhausting. The adrenals, I crash pretty quickly after a level of exertion, and I love it, and I have loved it.
Okay, well then don't.
I have to find.
But Mary, then just don't exert. Don't exert. Just go for a nice half hour. Oh, this is amazing. I didn't exert myself. Find out where that line is.
But the threshold is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Give yourself permission.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. That was your Christmas present. So
thank you.
I'm gonna let you all go. Merry Christmas.
Good night, sweet Jean.
Genevieve, yes, and Ross. Wonderful talking to all of you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
See you next year.